Episode 81. We are back for another week, another fun-filled week of. Actually, it's like an action-packed week. So let's see, what do we have? Samsung enters the headset VR race that I guess is kind of not started or nobody cares anymore, but we'll talk a little bit about that. Trump, hot off the press, yet another concept of a deal with China. And it looks like Matt has maybe talked a little bit about the OpenAI Atlas browser that he mentioned last week. He gave it a little spin, so maybe I get a hot take on that. And of course, could not end the episode without talking a little bit about stocks, because it's going to be mega earnings week this week with most of the Mag 7 and all sorts of techs reporting this week. So it's going to be a hot week. There we go. That's a lot of topics. Maybe a couple of these will be quick, and then we can spend time on the more interesting moneymaker ones.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Well, let's jump into it. Samsung's first story. We know we've been covering VR headsets, and last week we talked about how Apple had a silent update to their Vision Pro. When we say silent, they actually had a lot of silent updates in the last week. I saw they made an announcement about a new MacBook with the M5 chip.
Yeah.
There was another one that I'm drawing a blank on. The iPad. They had like a new iPad, right?
Was it?
But they did do a update to their Vision Pro, and for the most part, it's the same as how it's been for the last few years.
Yeah.
Same with $3,500 price tag, with a faster chip and a better head support band. But this probably came hot on the heels of knowing Samsung was going to talk about their new VR headset. So if we were following the VR headset race, you've got Apple, Meta, and Samsung, who are really the main players right now in virtual reality or augmented reality, or mixed reality as they like to coin. But Samsung has their reality headset. It is undercutting the Vision Pro by $1,700. So
it's still $1,700.
It's still $1,700, but that's half the price of the Vision Pro. In comparison, the Meta Quest is around $500. And so now you've got 3 tiered headsets.
Yeah.
Meta, $500. Get Samsung Galaxy XR, $1,700. Vision Pro, $3,500.
Yeah.
And the initial reviews and looks is that it's interesting, but if you take a look at the design of it, they pretty much replicated, copied the Apple Vision Pro into a cheaper model.
Yeah.
This is built off of Android versus OS 26 or Meta's Horizons platform.
Yeah, so it's Google's Android's XR operating system. And so basically you have, I get how it plays out in the mobile space, right? So you have Android versus Apple, and then Meta is just kind of out there because they never got their mobile game out
developer
there.
Platform.
Yeah, they never. I remember the original, there was like a Facebook phone at one point, but they couldn't get it to work. And they got rid of it. And now I guess this is Meta's opportunity to finally develop some type of platform that they can operate and own, which is this metaverse VR HR space.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
I mean, if you look at the, I'm looking at the handsets for the Galaxy XR, and they copied Meta. Pretty much they just ripped off both things. And, I mean, we talk about it in tech development. That's oftentimes the fastest way to market is just copy what's out there, right?
Yeah.
The way that we used to talk about it in startups is use the resources that these big companies have. They have a ton of money to test, to do user research.
Yeah.
And whatever they put out, they've spent a lot of money making sure it's right.
Yeah.
So just piggyback off of that research. And Samsung has clearly done that in their headset.
Yeah. So now there's a third competitor in the VR space, which is kind of late to the game, to be honest, at this point. I think everybody's moved on already to more of the virtual glasses type experience. So I guess we'll see how this plays out. But yeah, it's a big product, but it was actually not a huge launch from like if this had launched around the same time the Vision Pro, I'm sure we would have seen way more marketing and stuff behind it. But now it's more so like a silent launch. It's like it's out there because they had it ready. But yeah.
And they want to have something out there. I feel like with Samsung, from what I've seen, is you have Android users, you have iPhone users,
Yeah.
and generally you're loyal to whatever platform you use.
Yeah.
And just like the Galaxy Watch, like when they first launched that, it was competing with the Apple Watch.
Yeah.
And while it didn't really get a ton of marketing or a ton of uptick, over the
Mhm.
years, I've seen it catch on a bit more.
Yeah.
Because an Android user, it's like, I think Android users are typically like later adopters as well.
Yeah.
So once you get to that point,
Yeah.
you have a product in there for your platform,
Yeah.
and then you're more likely to get it.
Yeah. I feel like Samsung is basically just like trying to stay at parity with everything Apple is doing, right?
Yeah.
So you have the Galaxy Watch, they've launched the Galaxy Ring, they have their Galaxy tablets, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And they are pushing it. Coincidentally, they're hiring for product marketers. So if anybody at Samsung, feel free to reach out to me if you need somebody to work for you.
In
Anyways,
Dallas.
yeah, they actually have their electronics headquarters here in Dallas.
Nice.
So, but anyways, throw that out there in case the one viewer is from Samsung.
Did you apply?
I think I did.
Cool.
Whatever. It was just okay. It's local. It might be interesting.
Yeah.
It's
Samsung was cool.
We'll see. All right. So, anyways, so that's Samsung.
Yeah. So we'll see how this headset does in the market, but it's heating up. Lenses, headsets continue to heat up.
Pick your winners right now.
I'm in the meta camp as well for this space. We'll see.
Okay. There. All right. Stock talk. The only thing I mentioned is kind of hot out of the press is Trump is doing his rounds and doing the ASEAN, and we're supposedly meeting with President Xi of China to finalize yet another deal that was supposedly signed several months ago, but apparently not. And so there's a concept or framework that they probably will agree on. Um, we'll see. Of course, that's going to make futures super green when they open today and likely pump the markets the entire week. On top of that's why crypto bounced. Coin is solidly above 110 after treading water for most of the week. Now we're almost 115, 114, 115. But yeah, futures are likely going to be super green going into this Mega Mag 7 earnings week. So hopes and dreams will either be made or crushed this week.
Well, they'll be made for a week and then crushed.
Assuming
I was about to say, because I've been scaling more into puts. I got back into puts on the SPY, but far out, like February.
Mhm.
And so my target point was 680 680, yeah, for SPY. It's almost there. I don't think it's touched 680 yet, but it's almost there.
Yeah, we hit almost at 6,800 on the SPX. So
Yeah, it's almost there.
yeah, my gold positions are crushed after being up solidly. Crushed on Friday, likely crushed by Monday. But yeah, so anyway, so we have Google's at all-time highs. Apple is getting pumped. Meta has been actually kind of weak. Microsoft is kind of, hanging in there. Amazon was getting late day pumps. So yeah, so a lot of
Yeah.
we'll see a lot of setup going into this week.
Yeah. Sorry, I wasn't finished my thought, but I saw it, it was down like 30% on Friday because of the pump. I was like,
No, it wasn't down 30%.
no, my SPY puts.
Oh, your SPY puts.
Oh, no, stop talking
Did
about
I
my
miss
topic.
something? Okay.
My SPY puts were down 30%, like 30 Thursday and a Friday, but I just continue to buy in. I think like the market is so frothy right now, and it's going to happen where we have the pullback that we need. It's just when, right?
Yeah.
And like I said last week, I think it'll be in the next 6 months. So that's why I'm scaling into puts. Not financial advice, for entertainment purposes only. This is what we do with our money and what we're thinking about. But the other one was that TTD. I had calls and I'm loaded in stock, and like woke up one morning like, whoa, what happened here? Like went way up, pull back a bit. But now that you're telling me that futures are green, I'm like excited for to see what's going on in my portfolio in the morning.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Who knows? It's like if he wakes up on the bad side, it's like some random tweet. to force
Yeah.
China or whatever. But yeah,
But we do have earnings this week.
there's Meta, Microsoft, Alphabet on Wednesday, Amazon, Apple, Coinbase on Thursday. Yeah, it's going to be an action-packed week. Basically, all of them are reporting this week, which is not usually. There's like an Apple or Amazon is like the following week, but they're all this week, so it's gonna be kind of crazy.
Well, but not Google.
But yeah, Alphabet on
Oh,
Wednesday.
I see. Alphabet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is weird. Usually it's like Tesla leads, right? From a Mag 7 perspective.
Yeah.
And then you have
we
the
didn't talk
other
about
one.
Tesla reported last week.
Tesla reported they missed.
Pumped.
Well, it didn't pump overnight.
Yeah.
It went down
day.
about 3 to 4% overnight.
Yeah.
Then it rallied back the next day and came back up. So
yeah, and then it sold off on Friday. Surprise.
It sold off like everything else. It sold off on Friday.
Yeah.
So I think with Tesla, it's just mixed. It's like no one really knows what to do with Tesla. It's still got a great vision because Elon knows how to talk.
Yeah.
It's still got a pretty strong moat, but the margin, like they need to reduce their prices in order to sell to consumers successfully.
Yeah.
And that's going to eat away at their margin.
Yeah.
So that's the main story with Tesla is their margin has been very much reduced because of all this stuff going on with the political environment.
Yeah.
So, and actually, I didn't get to see the recap if there's any update on Robotaxi. Did you?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
But basically, it's going to be 3 things, right? It's going to be Optimus, Robotaxi, and whatever.
Self-driving cars.
Self-driving. So Tesla is no longer a car company. Apparently, it's all about energy. It's like Tesla's no longer a motor company. We got to value it like robotics.
But that's the thing.
AI-enabled energy company.
But Tony, that is the thing, though. Like, if you ever heard a proponent for Tesla, you knew it wasn't a motor company. Like, I knew it was not a car company for a very long time.
Yeah. I still can't trade Tesla worth it. Anything.
What is OpenAI? Is OpenAI an AI company?
Who knows? It might be the AI platform that everybody plugs into, right? Or whatever.
People who are like investing in OpenAI know it's more than an AI company.
Yeah.
So
anyways, their earnings are done. Tesla is down. Now we'll see how the rest of the Mag 7 play.
Yeah.
Place your bets. I think Meta and Google are kind of what I'm aiming at. So we'll see.
I think Apple's going to announce that Tim Cook is retiring.
You think so?
Yep.
What gives you, why?
I just think it's time. I did see there was some speculation on it.
Mm-hmm.
I forget where the article was. I saw this like maybe a month ago.
Yeah.
That, some signs are leading to Tim Cook.
Yeah.
Thinking about retiring.
Mm-mm.
I think it's time. I think it's time.
It's kind of run out of ideas, I feel like. There's nothing new. Like and their foldable, like we talked about last week, their foldable stuff is like off the books for like 3-4 years. And at this point, it's like, well, what else are you doing?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, yeah, it's like, for the most part, Apple is boring right now. I mean, their products are still superb, but they're boring.
Yeah.
And this kind of status quo, just like every year do the same thing, but just a little bit better. I think it's on the curve down where it's like even for myself, I went from a every year upgrade to 2 years, then to 3 years. And now this phone now that I have that phone Pro, I'm like, I can probably have this phone for 5-6 years, knowing that it's not going to have that much significant improvement. So that's what they need. They need that like spark.
I mean, you say that, but Apple is like at all-time highs also.
Everything's at all-time highs almost.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is like, that's because they have superb products. Yeah. And they have great like margins.
Yeah.
They charge a premium.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that the company's like dying. I'm just saying, I'm like, they need more of a spark and a new leader.
Amazon is not at all-time highs. I don't know what is up with this stock. Everybody is like, oh, it's got to go, but it's not going.
Well, is it because of the tariffs stuff mostly?
Not really at this point, right? I mean, it's like Amazon, right? It's a cloud company. It's not really e-commerce. E-commerce is still a big part of their business, but all their profit is from cloud. It just seems like people want it to go up, but it's not going up. So it's interesting. Like, yeah, people got a good point. Like the outage that happened this past week where AWS went down.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that.
Yeah. Did we talk about that?
No.
But yeah, so AWS went down and that basically took down the entire internet because everybody uses some form of it as part of their systems. And there was one error, which basically took it all down. Yet Amazon pumped on that day because I think it made everybody realize, oh, wait,
The
Amazon.
reliance.
Yeah, a lot of people are relying on Amazon. So I think that's where you start to see this uptick this past week is because of their outage, which is kind of crazy. Like if you think back to CrowdStrike, when they had their big Windows crash, it tanked the stock, which was a huge buying opportunity. This was kind of like the reverse.
Yeah.
So I'm tempted to buy Amazon, yet I'm still hesitant because I'm not sure.
Yeah.
The chart looks good.
There's some interesting companies this week, so it'll be a very interesting week.
Yeah. PayPal seems like right up your alley, beaten down the low, it's beaten down for years and years, yet you think financial, like, yeah, it just boggles my mind. Like I feel like PayPal should like be up there, but it's like it's not.
I'm not gonna invest in. We know all the people working at PayPal. I'm not. That's not something I'm gonna invest in. Like my Expedia stock didn't get that much higher when I was working with these people.
Yeah, I bought one call just to try out the theory. Yeah, it didn't work out. So PayPal is a scratch. SoFi could be interesting.
SoFi is very interesting.
Yeah, I made some money last earnings on SoFi. Should have held on to it, but I sold it. Still made it. So that's interesting. SoFi is like weird. It's like earnings, good or bad, it'll pump and then it'll drop. And so you buy the dip and it'll go right back up. So that's kind of like the play there is just to wait after earnings. And if it drops, buy it. It'll go back up and free money.
Well, SoFi is just such a unique company in the mix because it started as a financial company, but it's trying to get turned into a bank, right? And they have everything they need to turn into a bank. It's just how's that story evolving?
Yeah.
And there isn't really any other like small company right now doing that.
Yeah.
In here,
Reddit just makes me mad. So that's kind of like my ignore list at the moment.
yeah.
Yeah, strategy, Coinbase. Coinbase is probably, I feel like Coinbase always tanks earnings and then it'll always come back, but we'll see. If Bitcoin, crypto stays strong, then it should be okay. But I always feel like they kind of bomb earnings.
I guess the one thing we should, pay attention to after this, because we have been talking about it, is the tariffs. While people thought, Q2 was going to be impacted, like more Q3 would be impacted. So I'm interested to hear the tariff narrative when this huge round of earnings are done.
Yeah. Etsy might be a sleeper one because of tariffs. That might be a tariff play. But yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Be an interesting week.
Well, let's close out with my little review here of the AI Atlas browser. So if people don't know, OpenAI launched a browser. I think it was last week or the week before. It's called Atlas. And we've talked about Perplexity trying to launch a browser. I'll tell you, like when we talked about Perplexity's browser, I didn't even bother to look at it. But when we talked about OpenAI's browser, I immediately downloaded it. And I'm very impressed. And I think the last few episodes I was saying I finally got bought into using Safari full time. Like for 10 plus years, I've been trying to use Safari just because having the browser that's more integrated with the platform I use, which is iOS, I thought was I could be more productive and was more appealing to me. Finally got into Safari, but using Safari for like 2 months. And sorry, Safari, but OpenAI's browser is pretty cool. It's built off of Google Chrome's open source code. So it's for all intents and purposes, it is a Chrome browser. So I'm back to Chrome again.
Back to Chrome. Mm-hmm.
But it's got some bells and whistles for integration with ChatGPT. So the cool things are, one, I can open the sidebar and get to all my ChatGPT chats right away.
Mm-hmm.
instead of having to like open a new tab and go to ChatGPT or have the ChatGPT native client open. So that's cool. There's an Ask ChatGPT button at the top right, to which it opens up a chat window within context of what you're browsing. So I can ask it questions about the website and everything. The homepage for the browser is basically ChatGPT's main, window if you go to chatgpt.com. But you can type in anything if you would into Google, like a browser URL, and it'll navigate to it. Or you can put in a search and a search term, and it'll just spit out the relevant chat relevant to that search term. So it's basically like no search results anymore, right? Just summarizing or telling you what you need to know. But they do have browser links at the top. So if you think about SEM, SEO, like this is going to be the new way to actually compete, right?
Yeah.
And then the most powerful thing that I say for last is it basically acts like a co-pilot for you, and it can actually take over your browser and do things for you. So I sent you some screenshots last week, and I was looking at TradingView and looking at some Tesla charts. And I asked it to assess like what's going on, and it gave me what it saw, some pointers. But then it said, do you want me to plot these target prices for you? And I said, sure. So it took over my browser. It was actually an aha moment for sure, because the browser gets all like glittery and stuff, like it's doing something. And it's like pretty cool animation. And then when it was done, it put all these plot lines in for target prices, and it's on my chart now.
Did it hit?
Well, I mean, there's like 8 different prices. So there's like a top band and a little band right now. It's been consolidating.
Got it.
But the other thing that I had to do, because I was with my buddy when I first downloaded it, is I was like, this is interesting. The first use case we tried was, hey, can you take a look and find 3 toys for my nephew who's 5 years old and put them in my Amazon cart? And so I did that. I went to the browser, asked me to log in. So I logged in. And then when it was done, it had 3 toys suitable for a 5-year-old boy for me to choose.
Okay. Interesting.
So I asked ChatGPT, like, how I should think about you. And it said, just think of it like I'm riding shotgun in your car. So basically, it's like your assistant, right? And it's with you, like as if someone was sitting next to you while you're browsing. And you can ask ChatGPT to do anything for you. But last thing I'll close up with, and it's long, which is it's just a kind of more of an in-depth review, is I had provided feedback to it. And then because it has history of my chats, it knew that I was a techie, that I used to be a product director.
Yeah.
And so I gave it some feedback, and I was like, oh yeah, this is blah, blah, we're looking into this. Can you explain more? And then it said, okay, I'll pass it on to the product team. And then it said, do you want me to show you some mock-ups of kind of what you've been thinking about and get your opinion? Cool. Since you're in the product space, I'm sure your feedback would be valuable. And so it started showing me these ideas. I was like, what is going on? Like, how is all this baked into this data set?
Yeah.
So
that's interesting.
Dude,
so it has access to their feedback and kind of like research data.
It's all I can say is like continues to blow my mind. So yeah, it's real. It's cool.
But I don't trust OpenAI with my data just yet. I say that, but when Chrome finally launches their Gemini version of what OpenAI is doing, I'll probably try it out. Not that I trust Google, but I work for Google, so I kind of know where all the data is going. It's like they've got all my info anyway, so it won't matter.
I think at this point, everyone has all your info anyways.
Yeah. So at this point,
yes, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. But yeah, Google will eventually incorporate. I mean, they've already talked about it. It's already in the works. So I've kind of viewed OpenAI's browser as like much ado about nothing at this point. So I mean, we'll just see. As far as from a feature comparison, what performs better, I think that's where it really matters. What finds things that you want. But OpenAI I think is a little bit more I mean, they're a startup, right? So they're a little bit faster. They're willing to try out more things versus Google is just very red tape-ish in the thing they do. So
Very slow.
anyways, there we go. There's a lot of things to talk about. So,
Episode 81 in the books.
there we go. See you next
Talk
week.
to you later.
Yeah.